What is up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back, Sooner Surge, on this Tuesday night live show. Thanks for joining me tonight. We'll see when Jerem gets on here. As this normal Tuesday night, he runs a little late. So, big snowstorm coming to Oklahoma, Tennessee, Arkansas, you name it. Getting a lot of snow this weekend, it looks like. The 2025 season is officially over. As Indiana last night wins the national championship. They complete it, which is just crazy to think about. Last night after the game, I'm thinking, man, is this real? They just went 16-0. And you got to ask yourself, where do they rank as far as best teams in college football? Because what they did this season, they're up there at the top, man. I know everyone's going to say 2019 LSU, but man, they're up there because this team they beat everybody on their schedule. They whipped a lot of the teams. Just a great season from Indiana. And we are going to talk a little bit about OU men's basketball. It's an absolute embarrassment what's being put on the court right now. There's no way with this kept up that Porter Moser is going to make it. They are now 27-51. Let me repeat that. 27-51 is their conference record since Porter Moser took over. 27-51. That doesn't cut it. And tonight, to lose to the one team that's probably lower than you on NIL budget in the SEC, and probably the worst team in the conference, except now OU is bad. 1-5 in conference. It's not good. They started the game just horrible. 11-0 they were down. Just a pitiful performance. And Nigel Pack right now can't hit the broadside of the barn. I think he's 2 for his last 17 or something like that. Just not good from 3. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I don't know. There's no way to sugarcoat it. There's no way to change it. And you guys know I've been a Porter Moser supporter. I've been a Porter Moser backer. It's over. Time to make the move. Done. They need a total reset, complete reset overhaul. And yeah, I don't know. You know, I see people saying Sampson Jr. I just don't know why Kellen Sampson Jr. would leave Houston and come to Oklahoma when his dad retires. He might, who knows, might be the coach in waiting there. I mean, it's bad. It's bad, Michael. And if they made the move last year, yeah, who do they go get? That's the question I have now. It's like, who do they get? Who seriously, I mean, serious question is OU basketball right now, when you put the job of Oklahoma basketball in the SEC, it has to be one of the bottom 2 or 3 jobs in the conference. I mean, think about it. NIL budget's not great on it so far. Fan support's not the best. The arena is not very good. I just don't know when you look at the SEC, I mean, where are you going to rank that job? And you know, I've heard people mention Hollis Price. I love Hollis Price. I'm a big Hollis Price fan. He's never coached a head coaching position. Quantas White, who's on that same staff, had never coached a head coaching position, got his first job this year. And at one point, I think it was like 1-10, it wasn't going well. Yeah, it's at a bad school, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I just don't know where they go, to be honest. I really don't. It's a bad situation. I hate it because I love what I'm getting ready to say. This sounds really bad, but usually when Oklahoma basketball's on, I don't turn the channel. I'll keep it on that the whole time. But tonight, not just on commercials, but there were some times the game was going on. I turned it over to the TGL Golf League. I back and forth. I was just getting so frustrated. It's pitiful to watch right now. It's awful. Bring back the Skeeter meter. Those were the good old days, guys. Skeeter Henry, Chew Kennedy. Come on now. Helicopter. I mean, those were some great days. Sooner fan, you're right. It's not a very desirable job. It's really not. And if Jeremy was on here, he might disagree. I don't. I think it's not a desirable job at all for basketball. It's just not. I don't know who we could get, honestly. So, but yeah, we can talk more about that as we move on through the show. What did you think of the national championship game? I thought it was a great game, personally. Thought it was a great game for a national championship game. Sometimes we get clunkers out there for the national title games. Sometimes we get clunk jobs for those games, and it was a really good game. Second half specifically, it was back and forth, and the gutsy call from Cignetti to go for it on fourth down. He calls the timeout, says, we're going for this, to call the quarterback draw. I mean, all of it. And then they score. And then when right down the field, Miami goes and Malachi Toney, which, by the way, the dude is a freaking stud. Him and Fletcher from Miami are unreal. But just overall, I thought it was a great game. I thought you had the Becker kid had 2 really big catches for Indiana. Those were massive. They did what they needed to do. They got the win. So I thought it was, it was kind of a sad deal for me. We do this live show most nights. I mean, we were off last night, didn't have it. But most nights of the year we do it. And, now we're into that season where you have like 200 and something days. I don't even know the number, 220 something probably, till OU plays their next football game. And so now you're in this time frame of no football, no college football. It's officially over. And it's sad because it goes like that. I mean, the season goes so fast. I mean, you blink and it's gone. They were showing highlights from like the first week of the season. It's like, wow, it really goes fast. And you know what? Now there's already the way too early predictions coming out next year. The Heisman Trophy prediction with John Mateers on that list, and I can't remember what number he was, but he was up there. If fans, I mean, I know this is a fan channel, but if we have learned nothing over the last 5 to 10 years, the preseason hype means absolutely zilch, okay? You're going to see preseason rankings. You're going to see preseason Heismans. You're going to see, I don't even know who the projected to win the Heisman was last year before the season, but it's usually always not what they start off saying. I remember last year, it was probably Arch Manning last year, but there is spring ball. And I wonder what's going to happen with spring ball this year. Last year, OU went to that combine type deal. I wonder if they're going to change it this year. And there will be corks. There will be a lot of people believe the hype. Okay. And it's not just at OU, it's all the schools. And Mangum, it might just do that. You had that lawsuit that Duke's filing against Mensa. See how that turns out. You got Owen Heineke. He has not filed a lawsuit. He's waiting to hear back. Wonder what he would do if he gets denied. You can go see his reasoning why he wants to come back on Twitter. He put something out, I think, about that. Carry On is returning. I guess we didn't get to talk about this the other night. Leaves, goes in the transfer portal, ends up coming back to Oklahoma, switched his agent, which I think is a good thing for him. Now he's back at Oklahoma. So we'll see what he does. It gives you another body there. I always liked him. I don't know as far as a game changer how much yet. You got to see him play some. He hasn't played enough for me. He had a good bowl game last year against Navy, I think, but you just haven't seen a whole lot from him. So be interested to see how he does. I definitely don't think he's coming in there going to be starting or anything like that. Heineke will be denied. He's a Sooner. Maybe. Here's what I know about the NCAA. You ready? This is what I know about the NCAA, and when they try to come up with these guys either coming back or denied. Here's what I know. You ready? Nothing. I know nothing. 0.0, because, heck, I don't think they know anything either. I really don't. You had Mendoza's brother enter the portal today and go to Georgia Tech, already committed there. Not a surprise. Man, I tell you who's in a tough spot. The quarterback from TCU, Hoover, who is following Mendoza. I mean, Mendoza, the year he had, winning the Heisman, going undefeated, winning the national championship game, tough to follow that up, man. Tough to follow that up. So, But Indiana's around for good. I don't think they're dropping off any. I think they're going to be good next year and years to come as long as Sig is there. Sig's the real deal. Dude can coach. You know how some coaches, you can just tell they have like there's something about them, like during the game, like for instance, that call, they had already used one timeout. You're sitting there watching and people are saying probably going to kick a field goal here. And you could just tell, okay, no, he wants the touchdown. He calls timeout and then he calls. Some people just have it. Google him, 918 says. The dude's got it. Okay. He does. You can just, some coaches in game stuff are just, they got it. He's got it. He's got it. So was that a bar last? A lot of OU fans were cheering for Indiana. Well, I was cheering for Indiana, but it had nothing to do with beef with Miami. I like it when Miami's good, honestly. It had more to do. I wanted Indiana to complete that historic season, which to me, I've watched sports a long time. I don't know of a sports season where a college team had that type of a season. It's the greatest in my lifetime of a team that turns it around in 2 years and then was able to finish it off. Like, it'd be different if they made it that far and they lost. There's been teams. I mean, look up Butler basketball. They made two Final Four and championship games, couldn't finish it off. Them able to finish it off last night with like some really had to moments. It wasn't like they just were handed it to them. They had some tough moments and they were able to finish it off. I thought it was great. Great game, too. Just love the game. We'll be talking about Team 132 now as the tide has turned. Team 131 is in the back burner. Rear view mirror. Team 132's front of us now. So on the windshield. So you saw people moving in, already completed a first service project. I think today they started some training, the winter grind, with some testing stuff. Be interested to see on that. So I'm ready to kind of see some of these newcomers, see how they're going to be, see who the next standout's going to be from these newcomers. Well, no, I'm pretty old, Mac. They had something about them, but it was also a kind of a swag about them too that you might not have loved, but also it was kind of, I don't want to say cool, but it kind of was back in the day. Course just says he hates all our opponents when we play them. Yeah, I agree. When OU plays them, I don't like them. I'm down on that. Yeah, OU went undefeated in 2000. You're right. That season was a great season, AMAG. The difference is where Indiana came from. And I know OU was down before 2000, but OU had not been down like Indiana's been down for years and years and years and years. So it's a little bit different. A swag plus other stuff. I see the comments. I understand that, but it was cool, man. I mean, Boz was cool too. He had a lot of swag about him as well. So most of us couldn't stand watching Jimmy Johnson beating Switzer. Yeah. Oklahomans. I rocked with Miami in the 2000s because of Butch Davis, Larry Coker, and Jeremy Shockey, all Oklahomans. The fact Jeremy Shockey still went to Miami, still crazy. But yeah, but you know what? This Indiana teams, who in a college sports arena, who would be better than them as far as a season? I don't know if you could put it as far as the turnaround they had and everything that they had. What, 6 ranked wins? They whipped people. So yeah. Now Blazing sitting there talking about spring ball, says it's not enough for spring ball and it's not enough for the season. Now, this is going to be different this year because, there is no spring portal. And I don't even know how this is going to work because there's going to be some people, I guess, try to probably, I don't even know. I just think there's no actual portal, but that was a lot of the coaches. The reason why they didn't want to do spring game was the fact that they wanted to, they didn't want people poaching their players. Well, that can't be an excuse anymore because can't poach players in the spring anymore. So, what is their excuse going to be now for no spring game? Because it can't be that. Michael said they're talking O-line. Where are you guys at? I mean, we're going to talk position groups here. We're going to start breaking some of that stuff down. I know it's way too freaking early, but I mean, where are y'all at on the O-line next year? I know we put it in here as far as like who we think the starters are going to be, but what do you feel like as far as their ceiling, as far as how much better can they get? Jay, what's your take on TC quarterback for Indiana? I like Hoover. He's going to have a lot of expectations on him. That's the one thing that I think is going to be very difficult for him. It's following that guy up. I mean, you talk about Indiana fans that, I mean, they just love Mendoza. It's going to be a tough act to follow for sure. I like the starting five. The depth is a clear concern. Agreed. I would agree with you there. I would agree with you on that 918. And I think the depth at certain positions even more concerning. So I think you just kind of got to see what happens in the spring, see where guys kind of come into the fold. Some of the transfer guys like Nida, Harris, see how they kind of end up in the spring, see how they do. I mean, I don't really know, like right now, where those guys are going to be in the rotation. So we'll see. I mean, you got Ace Hodges that transferred from defensive line to front to center. So now Ricky says, got another O-line today. Did I miss something on that? I've been extremely busy today, so I might have missed that. 16 days of softball season's back. When does Thunder Surge back? We were just talking tonight or yesterday. Jackson, Jeremy, we're talking about when to do the next one. I think we'll probably do it in the next couple of days. And then those will probably ramp up, to be honest, because of playoffs. Those will ramp up a little bit more as the playoffs come around. So Makula is an SEC center unless he gets to 315 or so. Well, he played center in the SEC this year, Michael. But if you're saying as far as caliber-wise, where he needs to go to get better, yeah, I mean, the running game is where he really, really has to improve, in my opinion. And to me, you do need some size on there to make that happen in the run game. O-line depth, definitely a concern, Cornelius says. Anybody worried about depth on the D-line? I'm not, Jimmy. And here's why. And this is probably the difference between the O-line is the D-line has guys that are young that you haven't seen, but that doesn't mean they're not ready to play. They might not have experience, but there's some guys, I think, the way Bates and Chavis developed those guys, that you're going to know about them pretty quick. I honestly do think that. I think, I mean, even the guys coming in, I mean, by the way, if you haven't heard his voice, Brian Harris, a defensive line, the guy has a killer voice. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter, but man, killer voice. He's singing in the dorm there. Nida scored real high score against Bama, they said. Real high score against Bama as far as the grading out and probably a PFF grade, I'm imagining. Bizarro world. Georgia is 15-3 and Nebraska 19-0 hoops, and Indiana wins football. Insane. It is. And by the way, if you've seen Georgia's crowd in basketball, it's great. Their student section's unbelievable. Yeah, you're right about this, Michael. I would agree with this. Now, I mean, we can all sit here and talk about what needs to be better for Oklahoma next year. O-line's one of them. They got to continue to get better. The depth prize, I mean, you think about it, that was a position last year where they had a lot of injuries and they were kind of rotating guys in or fighting through injuries, right? Where did you see this, Jay? Sean says. Hey, Sean, you're going to be a little more clear. Where did I see what? I'm confused on the question you're asking. I'm not worried about. Are you talking about the Brian Harris singing? That was on Twitter. It was on OU football. It might have been OU football. It might have been Brian Harris's Twitter page. I'm not worried about the D-line or the defense in general because they have shown me I don't need to be concerned with that side of the ball. The staff. Yeah, that means the staff. You're right, 918. You're right. That's exactly right. I'm not too concerned. I mean, last year, people were concerned after they lost Stutzman, after they lost Bowman. Ooh, where are they going to be? Didn't drop off that much. So I'm not that concerned with it. I think they'll be in a great spot on defense. It's, to me, everything's focused on the offense. Couple things. I'm focused on run game, and John Mateer not turning the ball over and getting more consistent. To me, it's not even just turning the ball over. He's got to get more consistent on the throws that are easy to make. He's got to be more consistent on that. And that's what you need from him. You don't need somebody to go out there and throw for 450 yards. You need somebody to go out there and not make mistakes with that defense, okay? Harris had a good rendition of Kristen. Man, the guy could sing the phone book, I think. Yeah, his decision-making, Aaron, has to be improved. You're correct. I was one of those that was concerned last year, and they showed me they developing the guys on that side of the ball, and when it's their time, they're ready to play. I mean, perfect example of that, Taylor Wine, okay? Taylor Wine last year just made a massive jump, okay? And there's going to be a guy this year that does the same thing. It's just going to happen on the defensive side of the ball because that's just what they do over there. And you wouldn't expect it otherwise with the coaching staff they got over there and the way they develop. And they've proven they can develop players. So best player for Gamecocks is a guy played 2 years at Ohio State, then 2 at South Carolina, then back to Ohio State, then his final year back. Is this insane or loyal? Yeah, that's wild. I didn't even know that sooner thon, but I get dizzy thinking about that, man. Now, Mateer's like a shortstop. Just need him to make the basic plays, not the great ones. Yeah, but you got to be good at shortstop, and you got to have that range. I played shortstop was my position. Now, what a shortstop can't do is have a bunch of errors. Now, there's something about a shortstop that can make throws like no other people can on the field, but you got to be accurate. And that's one thing about Mateer. He's got to be more consistent on those throws, man. Okoye, the next star. I would probably agree with this, Michael. He's on my top 2 or 3 to watch for Oklahoma next year. I'm telling you, the other one is I don't want to and I'm against the hype train so much where you're really hyping up the next season and stuff. You know me, I've said that before that, sometimes I get overly hyped. Last few years, I haven't got overly hyped. Last year they did better than I thought they were, 10-2. I picked 9-3. So that's better than I thought. But one position group that I think is going to make a big jump is tight end. I think tight end with the guys they brought in are going to really help in the running game. I really do. So I think it's going to be really help for them in the running game. And I don't want to get overhyped about it, but I just think with the size they got, that I think it's going to be a big jump for them. Mateer has 11 interceptions next year. Beebe may be out of a job. Yeah, doubtful that he'd be out of a job, but you can't do 11 interceptions at all again and 14 touchdowns. I mean, that's just a horrible ratio. Horrible. Mateer needs to stop sidearm passing. Yeah, there's situations where you can do that, but sometimes it gets him into worse trouble. So, yes, I did, and I'm so ready for this year, Stan. This should be fantastic. I don't know which one that's in regards to, but I think both wide receiver and tight end made big jumps in the portal. Yeah, I would agree with this take. I would agree with that take. 2026 OU returned 4 of 5 starters on the O-line. Far less concerned than 2025. Depth is solid as well. Oh, that's softball. Y'all are talking about, hey, hang on one second. Sorry. Sorry. I'm not sure what time Jeremy's going to be on here. So, Mateer needs to stop. Yeah, I already read that comment. So, I mean, I understand they get 4 or 5 starters back. That's why I'm not too concerned about the starting O-line, as I think maybe it was 918 or other people said. But like the starting, I'm not too concerned. It's the depth. And what if, I mean, you don't want to talk about injuries, but just you have a starter go down, then what? I do like Ozida. A lot. And he didn't play last year really. So I like him as far as the depth. I mean, heck, he might start. So speaking of out of a job, Sean McDermott being fired with the Eagles after that game is a travesty. And I don't know what Pittsburgh's doing, because if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Baltimore Ravens, I would call him the minute he got fired. I understand it didn't work out in Buffalo. They never got past the conference championship and made it to the Super Bowl. The dude can coach though, and he'd be better than a lot of the other guys that are getting interviewed that I've heard. Brian Flores, Mike McDaniel. Give me Sean McDermott any day of the week. And Steelers or Ravens, you would be absolutely stupid to not hire him. You wouldn't even need to interview him. Hire him, okay? I'm sure everybody's seen the Stefanski stuff going around. Stefanski, who the Falcons hired him, which I don't think that's a good hire at all. I was kind of surprised that Matt Ryan made that move, but now the Stefanski Baker Mayfield beef on Twitter tonight, it's been kind of entertaining. I'm not going to lie. But any ideas on where OU players will go in the draft? That's a great question. That's a great question and a good topic. That would be a good thing to break down one night on the show, Dowpost. I like that for a topic one night. And I'm going to think about who's going to go the highest and maybe who's going to go what rounds and stuff. And how many's going to get drafted. Good topic, Dowpost. Glad you brought that up. Buffalo's cursed. Yeah, that's right, Soonerthon. They never made the playoffs for a long time until he got there, and they just couldn't get over the hump. But you can't put it all on him. I mean, you can't. I mean, they turned the ball over 5 times in that game. I mean, come on. No, the Steelers have not hired a coach yet. They have not. Jimmy says, I don't like my Dolphins hire. Hafley, Green Bay former DC. Yeah, I didn't really think that was a great hire either, Jimmy. Some of these coaches that get hired in the NFL, you're just like, don't know if that's the best move. So, Browns franchise is so doomed. Yeah, Fasusi did miss time last year. Yeah, they needed, the depth last year wasn't the best either. That's the one thing that's concerning. You're right about the O-line. The O-line depth is concerning. That's for sure. And as far as like, who's it going to be? Who's going to get those spots? Is there anybody coming in that you really think could just, last year you had Fasusi and Foje, high rated guys, and they played last year. Anybody you see coming in for the 2026 class that you say, hey, those guys can play year one? Deacon Schmidt, Noah Best, anybody on here in this chat think they could play next year? What's up, Braden? How you doing, man? Hope you're doing good. Man, I'm feeling a little bit better today. Not coughing as much. Oh, yesterday I felt horrible. Almost didn't know if I was going to make it through the national championship game, but I was able to watch it. They're ballers. I agree they're ballers, mess. I'm just saying, do you think they can play next year? Hey, guys, check out the FanStop, thefanstop.com. Code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. You also get hats there, the upside down Longhorn hat. You can get jackets. I got a jacket over here. They got polo shirts. They got t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, all of it. So check them out. thefanstop.com. Colin says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe IU had one turnover in the playoffs. I don't know if they had one turnover in the playoffs. I did see a stat yesterday or today where they had one fumble in the season, and it was in their first game. They did not fumble the ball the rest of the season after their first game. Now, that is a freaking wild, wild stat. Now, 918 says he's high on both, just like Mess, on Deacon Schmidt and Noah Best, and think they could get in the deep with the current depth. Okay, thinks he can get there. Add depth. Yeah, I could see in the 2 deep. I could see them being in the 2 deep. I was just wondering about can they make starts in year one? I don't know about that. Fire Moser. Yeah, it's got to be done. And I'm not one to say that all the time. In fact, I've supported him. But it's gotten that bad. I mean, what they throw out there right now, just they need a reset. You know the button? Reset button. Reset button. And I'm sure Jeremy, if he was on air right now, would be losing his ever-loving mind on that. A little rock rye with honey, you'll feel a lot better, Jay Bird. There you go. I haven't tried that yet. Now, John says he likes the pickup we have at center. The Georgia Tech transfer has great potential. Joseph, you're talking about Devin. You're talking about Joseph. Marion Harris will be a starter, Richie says, as well as Zaida. Akinkumi, Best, and Schmidt may be in the rotation. Yeah, the Daniel Akinkumi stuff, to see how much of a leap he takes. I knew he would kind of be a guy that would take a bit, but you're going into year 3 now. So what does that look like? But I don't personally see. So John, you're saying Imarion and Ozida both start. So you're saying Foji does not start. Interesting. I see Foji starting, whether it be at guard or tackle. I'm not sure, but I see Foji as a starter. I don't think that's getting taken out of his hand. So it's going to be whether they play him at guard and put Harris at tackle, or they play him at tackle and put Ozida at guard. That's kind of where I'm leaning on the O-line, guys, personally. I think your left side's pretty set, EPL and Fasusi. So right sides, it just depends on where they want to put Foje. And maybe that's the first thing they got to figure out is, where do you put Foje? Tackle or guard? Where is he best at? Where is it going to be best for his future? Stick him there and go with it. And then play off that. So we'll see. I don't know why Cool Talk doesn't play anymore. I don't get it. It makes zero sense. It can't be any worse than what you're throwing out there. I mean, Pack's 2 for his last whatever. So, yeah, that's a crazy stat. Never lost a fumble. That's insane. Womblero, they do need a new arena. It needs to be a smaller arena, a.k.a. what Baylor did, all that stuff. It needs to be a smaller arena, and it needs to be a better arena than they have for sure. But even with that, to get to where the fan support's going to be there, the NIL's got to be increased, because they got to bring in dudes that people are going to want to watch, one, and they got to do it to compete with other people in the league. Right now, they can't. I mean, they're not near the top of the SEC and NIL. In fact, they're near the bottom. So things have to change in a lot of different ways. I mean, what coach could you bring in here that could really energize the fan base? I mean, guys, I know we sit here, a lot of people sit here and talk about Joe C a lot with hires. And we weren't doing Sooner Surge when Moser was hired. But I talked to a lot of OU fans when that hire happened. First off, he was one of the hottest commodities out there. When I heard his name pop up for Oklahoma, I was kind of surprised. I thought, really? They're going to be able to land him? Well, now you look back and think, man, maybe it wasn't the best hire, but he brought energy as far as trying to get the students involved, just hasn't panned out. Nobody cares. And he's not coaching very well. So Will Wade's not going to leave NC State. He's not going to leave NC State and go to Oklahoma, in my opinion. Basketball program's a lost cause. And that's true. The Thunder situation has hurt as well. I would agree with that, 918. Well, here's my thoughts, Colin. You knew it was going to happen eventually. Who's going to win these things? I don't know. And here's the thing. Okay, so you have the situation with Darren Mensah. You're going to sue a guy. And then if you win, the guy that doesn't want to be at your school is now your quarterback. How's that going to play out? I mean, think about that. You got a guy that wants out for more money. You say you can't leave. You have to stay. I mean, I don't think that's the best option either. It doesn't work out either. But, yeah, it'd be better if you could keep him. But, I don't know, man. You had the Washington situation earlier this year in the portal season. I don't know. But at some point, you got to make these contracts a binding contract, I guess, is where they're trying to go if he signed it. I don't know all the situation about it. John says, Jay, I should have cleared that up in my original comment. Foji starts and Ozida in the rotation. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. I got you now. OU men's basketball needs a winner. OU fans always support a winner. They will support it, Mess, but not to the levels of everybody else. I'm just telling you. I am a big OU basketball supporter. I'm a fan, okay? In the Buddy Hield year they went to the Final Four, me and Jeremy took our kids to at least 6 to 8 games, even weeknight games. We would drive on a big Monday or a Tuesday night game, 8 o'clock tip. We'd drive down there from Tulsa. We'd get back 1, 2 a.m. And, yeah, they had good crowds, Mess. But still, those crowds weren't just off the charts. They were better than they are now, of course. But they weren't just like you're getting at some of these other arenas that are like, I watched Georgia the other night. The place looked raucous. They're not that good in basketball. They're ranked now, but come on. Vanderbilt? I mean, so I don't know. I think they got a long road ahead, to be honest. I think they got a long road ahead. And I don't know what the number one thing that needs to happen. Obviously, the first thing that needs to happen is you got to change the coach. Oh, wow. Bucket list item for me. I can just tell you right now. One of my bucket list items is to go watch a basketball game at Fog Allen. Tone Loc was at the game where Buddy went off. Wow. I mean, that has to be Tone Loc. I don't know your history, Tone Loc. I don't know how many games you've been to football-wise, basketball-wise, whatever. That's got to be in your top 2 or 3 games that you've ever watched live, I would think. I mean, I watched it on TV, and it was in my top 2 or 3. I mean, that has to be up there. I don't know what football games you've been to compare it to, but that was crazy. Yes. Now, here's the thing. I was talking to somebody about this that's a Missouri fan, and he was asking me about the basketball program, and I said, well, Lloyd Noble's not on campus. He's like, it's not. I was like, no, but it's really weird because it's not, but it's not like way off campus either. I mean, you can park at Lloyd Noble and go to the football game riding a shuttle. So it's not like it's 20 minutes down the road. I think a lot of people think that when you say off campus, it's not like that. It's just not when other people have arenas, other schools, it's a little different. So I don't really know how to explain that any better, Juan Blero. Maybe somebody can explain it better for me on here. Tubbs years were great support. That was fun ball to watch too. It kind of started that trend of playing fast. And that's true, Michael. It's closer than the softball stadium to campus. Now, not on campus, not quote on campus, but it kind of is on campus, but it's not. I know that sounds confusing, Monblero. But right now, I think OU women's basketball is probably outdrawing OU men. And the OU women aren't winning any big games. They get ranked. They play a ranked team and they lose. They get a great crowd. I just don't know. I don't know what the answer is for basketball. You need some energy to just to put into the program. You can walk. I mean, guys, it's not, heck, I mean, I walked from Lloyd Noble to the farther than that before, but a lot of people, when they say on campus, they want it right there in the middle where it's easy for everybody to get to. But I also think that's kind of a cop-out. Now, Monty, this has been talked about before. I don't think it'll ever happen. They play one game a year there. I just don't think it'll ever happen. So, and I think they would rather just build an arena than do the McClassen thing. The dorms are very close to the LNC. There you go. I played a game in AAU in 8th grade. We finished second in state. If you're top 2, you're eligible for national tournament. We played and beat a team from Indiana. Why we played in Allen, it was amazing. Oh, you played in Allen Fieldhouse? That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of a cop-out. I think in a roundabout way, that's what I'm saying is it's kind of a cop-out, the whole on-campus. But you know what? They're going to give a lot of cop-outs because whether they want to admit it or not, the OU basketball fan base, it's not up to par. It's just not. And we've said that about football sometimes, but basketball, it's a different animal. It's not that big of a deal. And it sucks. It really does. But yeah, Jimmy, wow. They put this out last few days, like big winter storm. That's why now it's looking like it's even going to be bigger than what they previously thought. I mean, they're saying like 6 to 12 or 8 to 14 inches of snow. And it's going to go to Tennessee, Corks, Monty, your area. Looks like y'all going to get quite a bit of snow as well. Wasn't the Thunder attendance pretty bad when they were bad too? No, I don't think the Thunder attendance has ever been bad. I don't think so, Stiller, man. Now maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't think they've had a problem at all. But it's also a little different because you're watching NBA players. So you got the star effect. Yeah, Michael, they have no problem getting to the campus corner, do they? That's right. Hey, Steeler man, do me a favor. Get your Steelers to go after Sean McDermott. I mean, what are they waiting on? What's the holdup? I did see the Chargers hired Mike McDaniel as an OC, which I think that's a great hire. He's an OC. He's not a head coach. And I think that's a good hire for them. Jim Harbaugh making a good move there. But campus classes were further away from my location than Lloyd Noble Center. No excuse. Well, did you make it the class mess? Hopefully so. Wait, no on McDermott? Come on, Steeler man. What in your mind thinks no on McDermott? You'd rather have Shula than McDermott? I mean, I like Shula as well, but McDermott can coach ball, man. I know he never got to the mountaintop with Bills, but no retreads. Well, hey, and you're probably going to be right because the Steelers don't do retreads. They hire younger coaches, and then they go with them for a long time. That's what they do. That's been their history. It's been what they've done all along. So speaking of firing head coaches, can we fire Jerry Jones? Cowboy fans want to know. I'm a Cowboy fan. Yeah. Not going to happen. But yeah, I'd be down with it. Not going to happen. It's frustrating, especially when you watch NFL this year and you think, wow, there is some teams in the NFL this year that how they got to be good so quick, shocking. How can Dallas in the last 30 years not do anything? It's quite frustrating. Man, how many Kubiaks are there? Clint, Gary, who's the other one? There's a bunch of them. There's 2 in that game the other day. Is baseball a guaranteed regional team? Well, I don't know, man. I would think, but I don't know. I would think so, but Oklahoma fans, you should not be satisfied with 10 wins in a playoff appearance. Clay Kubiak. Thanks, Clay. Thank you. I don't think anybody's satisfied. I think people are happy last year that they made a 10-2 and made the playoff. I am as a fan. I picked 9-3. And if they would have went 9-3, there was no chance they make the playoff. So they took a step forward. I mean, you can be mad that they didn't win a playoff game, whatever. They took a big jump last year to go 10-2 and make the playoffs. It's a big jump for Oklahoma in year 2 of the SEC. I mean, that's okay. Now, what do you back it up with? I think that's what I'm waiting to see. What we need to see in this, when you talk about Brent Venables, year 5 now, you have not seen the back-to-back good years. So this is what we need to see. Okay, build upon last year's 10-2. What can you do this year to even go another step further? So, I mean, when you think about SEC preseason rankings, way too early, but where would you put OU? You're going to have Texas up there. You're going to have Georgia always. LSU with what they did in the portal. Alabama might not be up there as high. Ole Miss, I don't know, with Chambliss not coming back, if he doesn't get back. I mean, would you think it's going to be LSU, Texas, Georgia are going to be the 3 teams top 3 in the SEC? You have OU in the top 3 of the SEC. I mean, what do you guys have? That's an interesting thing to talk about. Where do you think your OU is going to be ranked in the SEC preseason? How many teams will be ranked ahead of OU in the preseason rankings that are from the SEC? Now, Matt says OU number 1. I don't think they're going to be preseason 1. I would go with top 4 preseason. I would go with top 4. Sooner thought I'm on board with that. And I think my 4 would be Georgia, LSU, Texas, OU. I think you got OU, Ole Miss, Bama, kind of all around there maybe. Am I missing somebody? Man, sorry, this is top of my head. 3 or 4. Yeah, I'm kind of with y'all on that. Texas, I think, will be 1. They were last year. They're going to be this year. If anybody doesn't think Texas is going to be 1 in the SEC preseason, I think you're mistaken. Now, LSU might be 2 with what they've done in the portal. They're going to get that. By the way, if you saw what Mark Cuban said last night, I really liked what he said about the NIL and stuff. They were talking to him in Indiana grad, and he was just like, if you're throwing your NIL money off the hottest or the most expensive guy out there, you're going to lose your culture. He was very adamant in the way he was talking about how NIL should be used and getting the right culture, but also he's a fan of and graduate of a team that just did it with the Cignetti way, which is different than the Lane Kiffin way. So, and that's crazy to think about. Cignetti did it that way. Lane's doing it this other way. Will it work out for Lane at LSU? Will he get him a national championship at LSU with the way he's doing the portal? We'll see. Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate the comment. Thanks, man. Not sure Lane going to be great in year 1, but we will see. Well, he'll have a lot of talent. I mean, they got Jordan Seaton, didn't they? Didn't Seaton commit yesterday too? So they got all the talent in the world. But he also had that 2 years ago at Ole Miss, and they didn't make the playoff. Because that team they thought was better than this team they had this year, and they made the playoff this year. So we'll see. Jim Nagy has made this year's portal class a perfect blend of high upside players with plenty of eligibility remaining plus experience. Yeah, I saw that somewhere on Twitter, Colin. But yeah, I mean, I do like the pieces they brought in. I'm anxious to see him. I really am. I hope not for Lane as well, Dowpost. Michael says, I don't think Levitt will be available for spring, which could set them back. That's true. That could. By the way, we were talking about guys that came into Oklahoma and enrolled early and are there. It did look like the Jandro. I saw the Jandro bros were there. I'm excited to watch those guys play at Oklahoma. Man, they got that it about them. I like what I see with those guys. He's not always late, Mr. McGoldie. It's only Tuesday nights, and obviously he's not joining tonight. It doesn't look like. So he's on here every other night. No big deal, man. I got it. I'll be closing it up in a minute anyway. Now, this is that Michigan game's good. And I saw preseason rankings. Now, I don't know if it was On3 that put this out. They have Michigan ranked 11 in preseason rankings. I mean, do you guys think that's a little high? I mean, I like Whittingham a lot, but 11? Wamblero will be doing, as the season gets going, we'll be doing instant reaction videos, some lives as well after the games and stuff like that, kind of like we did last year. So that'll start kind of ramping up as that gets closer. But we'll still have our 9:30 live for football and everything else. Those would be separate lives, Wamblero. It's just too hard to mix that with football. I mean, you got two different fan bases, to be honest. It's just the way it is. Now, this is an interesting question, Steeler Man. I don't know. I mean, they're like right now in the conference standings, I think they were 8, right on getting into the playoffs. But they're kind of up a creek now without him. So I don't know what the best situation for them to do would be. You also got, I mean, Curry's not a young pup anymore. Draymond's not either. When's it going to be time to do a hard reset there in Golden State, still, man? Kind of like what Oklahoma City did. When's that going to be? You got to take it for a few years, but does Kurt winning a natty in 2 years into a new program make new coaches' seats hotter and possibly adds more quickly to fire coaches if they don't quickly turn things around? I think it's always hot, Colin, in this day and age. Always hot. So I don't think it does a whole lot to it. I just think that's what it is. It's always a hot seat these days. Just it's becoming the NFL. The NFL hot seat, I mean, look at McDermott. Look at Harbaugh. These guys have proven themselves as far as maybe not getting over the hump as far as McDermott, but good coaches, and they got fired. So I think NCAA is getting more and more like the NFL in that aspect. No, Blazers. Oh, the Blazers? I don't think the hockey are the Blazers still playing hockey in OKC? I thought they didn't. I mean, you still got the Oilers in Tulsa. You still got the Oilers, but I don't know about the Blazers. I don't follow it that close. I thought they did away with it. So, hey, man, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun tonight. Appreciate you guys joining me. As always, sorry we missed last night, but that game was really good last night. Great end of the season. It really was. And this season, I just want to say thank you guys to the viewers. Really appreciate you. This has been it's been a fun season for Oklahoma football. It didn't end the way you wanted it to as a fan, obviously, but it was a fun season. Chatting up with you guys every day on these live shows, and it went by like that. It really did. It went by in a blink of an eye. But just want to say thanks for always being on here. Really means something that we had the loyal listeners like y'all. So appreciate that. Thanks for joining me tonight. Can't wait. Talk some more tomorrow. Jeremy will be back tomorrow. I'm sure we'll talk Porter Moser. Knowing him, probably Emmett Jones. I don't know what he'll want to talk about, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. It should be fun. Appreciate everybody. Hey, everybody have a great Wednesday. Get all your stuff. Bread, milk, dairy, big bread, big dairy. They say by Friday, might want to have it, but I don't typically do that myself. Just going to tell you, we don't drink milk in our family. And I buy, you know what I do when the snowstorm's going to happen? I buy the same amount of stuff as I would normally. So maybe you guys do that too. But anyway, hey, have a good night. Talk to you tomorrow. Boomer.